free.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to Let's Think Outside the Box.org, where we get inspiration, daily inspiration, be it legal, be it spiritual, name it. We will speak to your soul. Consider us brethren who are there so that you should not be disappointed. Consider me a brother where you can lean on. I'm a shoulder where you can lean on. So this morning I want to speak to your soul, into your heart, into your spirit, about some challenges that we go through day to day. Sometimes we feel like rejects. So the topic of today's discussion is, if you sometimes feel like you're rejected, maybe because of circumstances, maybe because of situations that are prevailing themselves upon you. Here is your word, and be encouraged, my friend. Listen, I'm going to quote from the scriptures. In the Bible, we got one of the most important ladies here who was actually considered a slave. But in spite of the fact that she was a slave, God was able to speak to her and use her for incredible things. And out of her came a generation that many of us would want to appreciate. Hagar is the person I'm talking about. Hagar is one of the most important women in the Bible, and she was introduced in the book of Genesis, chapter 16. Based on the scriptures, Hagar was actually an Egyptian slave who served as a maid in Abraham's home. And Abraham had a wife called Sarah, as most of you know, but Sarah was unable to bear children. So out of the desperation, Abraham had to compromise and eventually had to, get to know Hagar the slave, and they bore a child. But before that, Hagar was being mistreated for some, sometimes we know these things happen in our homes where the official wife begins to mistreat, any other person, be it a mistress or be it a maid. So even before that time, Hagar was being mistreated by Sarah. These are scriptures that tell us about her. And she actually considered to run away because she was a slave from Egypt. So she wanted to run away. So she had actually attempted to run away. And one time when she did try to run away, an angel appeared to her and said, "Please do not be dismayed. Go back, continue doing what you're doing." In other words, regardless of the challenge that you are going through, the pressure, the mistreatment that you're getting from Sarah, continue because of my servant Abraham. Perhaps Abraham was being kind or generous, or maybe a little bit considerate, knowing that this lady belonged to some kind of family, and therefore she, in spite of the fact that she was a slave, he was required to look after her nicely. So Abraham continued to look after her in spite of the fact that she had actually attempted to run away. Then eventually, over a period of time, I think because of desperation again, Sarah was unable to bear a child for a long time. And there was a situation that was created that Abraham had to get to know Hagar, and then Hagar conceived. And when Hagar conceived, there was a situation when Hagar had actually now having the baby Ishmael, continued to cause a lot of stringent relationship between her and Sarah. And so there are situations in life that may prevail upon us where we may have challenges, not because we ultimately demand them, but because circumstances have treated us as if we are rejects. So, but listen, in spite of the fact that Hagar was more like a slave, a reject of sorts, God was able to, give her the opportunity to bring some kind of joy and some kind of